Our panelists are present. We have Dr. Dewa from CPST. We have Director Hansard, Senate. Then we have Resident Delay. We have a delegate from Kericho County, Bungoma County, Nyamira County, Turkana County. Without much ado, let's have Sydney making his remarks. Then we'll have the panel, we'll have a plenary, then the Sydney will conclude. Karibu, Sydney. In YouTube, you are live streaming. No. Okay. This is okay. Okay. Good morning. Doesn't seem to work. Good morning. My name is Sydney Lugaga. I'm a senior legal counsel from the Directorate of Legal Services. I'm here to make a presentation on behalf of Mr. Jeremiah Ndombi, who was scheduled to facilitate this session. That's session 2, developing a HANSARD curriculum. And the reason he's not here today is because he had a prior engagement, and therefore he made a request that because this is a very important forum, and it is also seeking an important solution going forward, I should appear in person and present some of the thoughts. So I prepared a paper, and the whole idea is that it's a discussion paper for purposes of guiding this discussion. With your kind permission, allow me to read the paper verbatim so that we may save on time. I realize that it's not, we have taken a lot of time. So the paper is available. I've shared it with Ms. Delay, and I think she can share it with the attendants, and you can also share your thoughts on it. Thank you. So the Clerk of the Senate, Secretary Parliamentary Service Commission, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye, CBS, the President of the HANSARD Association of Kenya, Mr. George Onyoko, the Clerk, Kirinyaga County, and the Chairperson of SOCAT, Mr. Kamau ID, members of the association, distinguished resource persons, ladies and gentlemen. This paper presents a conceptualization and development of a curriculum aimed at training individuals in the art of HANSARD reporting. The HANSARD is a verbatim record of debates and proceedings in legislative assemblies, holds immense importance in upholding democratic principles and ensuring transparency. However, the specialized skills required for HANSARD reporting are often overlooked in traditional journalism or stenography education. This discussion paper has been prepared in full presentation at the HANSARD Association of Kenya at the 6th annual conference. Introduction. In the realm of parliamentary proceedings, the HANSARD serves as a vital repository and of democratic discourse. It encapsulates the essence of debates, discussions, and decisions made within the legislative bodies, serving as a cornerstone of transparency and accountability. However, the intricacies of HANSARD reporting demand a unique set of skills that are not typically covered in the mainstream journalism or stenography training programs. Recognizing this gap, the need for a specialized curriculum tailored to HANSARD reporting becomes evident. So as you see from your program, there are specific items that are to be addressed, and I will address them as we proceed. So the first item is the vision, the goals, and the objectives of the curriculum. The overarching vision of the HANSARD curriculum should be to cultivate a cadre of proficient professionals equipped with requisite skills to accurately and comprehensively document parliamentary proceedings. To achieve this vision, the curriculum may delineate the following goals and objectives. One, mastery of verbatim reporting. The curriculum ought to instill in students a thorough understanding of verbatim reporting techniques, ensuring fidelity to the original speech while maintaining clarity and coherence. Two, proficiency in legislative terminology. A foundational aspect of HANSARD reporting lies in the comprehension and utilization of legislative terminology. The curriculum should endeavor to familiarize students with the lexicon of parliamentary discourse, enabling accurate transcription and interpretation. Three, ethical considerations. Upholding ethical standards is paramount in HANSARD reporting. Given its pivotal role in shaping public perception and historical record, the curriculum must emphasize ethical conduct, integrity, and impartiality as guiding principles of HANSARD reporting. Next, we can consider adaptability to technological advancements. In an era of rapid technology evolution, the curriculum should seek to equip students with the necessary technological skills to navigate digital platforms and recording systems effectively. Contents of the curriculum. A HANSARD curriculum should encompass a diverse array of modules designed to impart both theoretical knowledge and practical expertise. Key components may include one, an introduction to parliamentary procedures. The module should emphasize an overview of the legislative process, parliamentary etiquette, and the role of the HANSARD in documenting proceedings. Verbatim reporting techniques. This module should impart knowledge and in-depth training on transcription methods, shorthand notation, and strategies for capturing speech nuances accurately. Um, Legislative terminology and contextual understanding. Such a module should explore parliamentary vocabulary, conventions, and contextual comprehension to facilitate accurate reporting. Technology integration. This module ought to facilitate a HANSARD student to acquire hands-on experience with transcription software, audiovisual recording equipment, and digital archiving systems. Training in the curriculum. The curriculum may employ a blended learning approach comprising of lectures, workshops, practical exercises, and simulated parliamentary sessions. Experienced practitioners and parliamentary experts ought to serve as faculty members, offering insights, guidance, and mentorship to students. Additionally, internships and on-the-job training opportunities provide real-world exposure and practical experience in HANSARD reporting settings. Assessment methods. Um, Evaluation in the HANSARD curriculum is multifaceted, encompassing both formative and summative assessment strategies. Assessment methods may include one, transcription that will assess the proficiency of students in accurately transcribing parliamentary speeches while adhering to established standards of verbatim reporting. Two, written assignments, such as analytical essays, case studies, and research papers evaluating a student's understanding of legislative procedures, ethical considerations, and technological applications in HANSARD reporting. Three, practical demonstrations, such as oral presentations, mock parliamentary debates, and live transcription exercises to gauge students' practical skills and adaptability in real-time reporting scenarios. Then 7, we can address partner organizations. Collaboration with parliamentary bodies, government agencies, media organizations, academic institutions is integral to the success of the HANSARD curriculum. Partner organizations play a crucial role in providing access to resources, facilitating internships and practical training opportunities, and offering expert guidance in curriculum development and implementation. An example of such bodies includes the Commonwealth Hansard Editors Association, the UK Parliament that offers a postgraduate diploma in parliamentary reporting for staff of the UK Parliament, the Parliament of Tanzania to learn and improve the process of transcribing in Swahili, as well as the College of Court Reporting located in Indiana in the United States, among many other partners. Regulating a profession of HANSARD reporters. The formula that the association adopts in developing a curriculum shall inform the manner in which the profession of HANSARD reporters is regulated. In the United Kingdom, a person must possess a degree or an equivalent level of study to apply for a job as a HANSARD reporter. In the United States Senate, in the United States Senate, a person must possess a high school diploma and a state court reporter certification or a National Court Reporters Association certification with a minimum of 7 years professional field experience to apply for a job as a HANSARD reporter. In addition, a HANSARD reporter in the United States Congress is required to obtain an annual certification after passing a required number of National Court Reporters Association exams. It is encouraging in the present case that the HANSARD Association of Kenya has already been formed and is actively considering regulation of its members by defining minimum qualifications through the adoption of a curriculum. So in conclusion, the development of a specialized HANSARD curriculum represents a significant step towards nurturing skilled cadre of professionals capable of upholding the integrity and accuracy of parliamentary records. By aligning the vision, goals, and objectives outlined herein, leveraging on past successes in the era of artificial intelligence, stakeholders can collectively contribute to the advancement of democratic principles and transparency in governance through proficient HANSARD reporting. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just make a few remarks. I think I'm still within time. Yes. So, if you're going to regulate HANSARD reporters as a profession, it is important that you take into account the current practice. And so far, what I have come across is the home of the HANSARD, which is the United Kingdom, and the other practitioners, that is the United States. In the United Kingdom, what has happened is that because I think they had a paper in 1909, and that's when there was a committee that made a resolution that the HANSARD should be domiciled within the UK Parliament. That is when they stopped. That was the beginning of HANSARD officers being employed as permanent and pensionable employees in the UK Parliament. So what they realized was that it is anchored on the technology that is dominant. So the theme of this conference is leveraging on past successes of in the era of artificial intelligence. So what I noticed when you look at the UK and the US, the development of stenography, I've forgotten the name of the machine, but that machine actually determined the nature of the person who was going to be appointed or would qualify to act as a reporter. So you learn how to. So basically, when you look at the UK, at some point they realize that even though they offer the 2-year program, that 2-year program is for stenographers and shorthand writers. So that period was a bit too long for training, and what they opted was to have another program where they do nine months using existing technologies. Existing technologies at the time was the computer. So you'll find it's very interesting that right now Much as we say there is artificial intelligence, much as even that exercise was done where the transcribing was undertaken, my understanding is that a stenographer is still faster than AI, which I find very interesting. So ultimately, the technologies that will guide the qualifications of the person who then qualifies to be a professional HANSARD reporter is still very limited to the technology that is efficient in terms of transcription, recording, transmission of parliamentary proceedings. So that is why in the UK they've liberalized it. And they've said, okay, you can be a professional stenographer, or you can come in, and if you're very efficient with your computer skills, then you can go ahead and present. I mean, you can go ahead and be one of our reporters. The other aspect is in the American system. In the American system, what they have done is that they've created a wide range, or it's now more or less like a market, so that for you to qualify, there are two aspects. You don't necessarily need a degree, because when they say high school diploma, it's basically Form 4. But you need a certification. Now, when you look at that certification, when you go to this it's called the College of Court Reporting, what you realize is that the entire curriculum is based on stenography. So even then, much as there are new technologies which are emerging, the reality is that the top two democracies prefer a person who has technical capacity when it comes to stenography. So if you don't have that stenography, then that means that maybe you must be extremely efficient on the keyboard. So what I think is important for this association is for it to consider what technologies are available and easily available across Kenya. Secondly, model the entire curriculum based on existing technologies. AI, much as it is a beautiful idea, are technologies that may not necessarily be supported by our computers. So for instance, let's do a small exercise. Of those of you who have a computer, can those who have an Apple raise their hand? I'm not seeing very many hands. Yet you're the transcriber, or you have. Now, it's very interesting but everyone here has a smartphone, I'm assuming. The chip on a computer and the chip on a smartphone are completely different. Most likely, if you're using an Apple from before 2019, you're using an Intel chip. The Intel chip has become extremely slow. If all of your phones are using ARM chips, the ARM chip is what determines the capacity of what you can do. Even that AI, it is dependent on the capacity of the hardware that you use. So ultimately, we must look at what is available, what can we procure, and then from there, train people on the existing technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Let's have Dr. Bewa making brief remarks before we go to the panelists.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sydney, for laying out the hardware. With the invitation that we were shared to us, we felt that it's about sharing our experience, which I want to describe as a software that will go into what has been laid, the layout that has been given. Our understanding of the need that the HANSARD Association of Kenya expressed to have a curriculum. One, we think that it's a timely desire. and our support is with you. Now, regarding, basing my little presentation on what has been put to us, we all understand what a curriculum is. We will agree in this room, all of us, we are products of some sort of curricula, and curriculum is largely just a planned learning program. So it dawned on us that the desire of HANSARD Association of Kenya is to have some planned learning program so that it's not haphazard, which is actually the way to go. We also agree that in that curriculum, the HANSARD curriculum should have clearly the knowledge about different categories of HANSARD skills, the challenges that we meet as reporters, as transcribers, as editors. So what are those issues as identified by yourself? And we are saying that in simplest terms, curriculum is just about the usually referred to as the 5 wives and 1 husband. That is, the why, the what, the who, the which, the where, and the how, which is the husband. So we are saying that once we identify those ones, we will have the best of the curriculum that would really help this team to develop their own and to address the issues that we have identified as practitioners. In the current trends, we have 2 types of syllabi. One, or rather curriculum. There is the CBC, which is a very common terminology in our environment in Kenya, for those who don't come from Kenya. But all of us talk so much about the competence-based curriculum. Then there is the traditional content-based curriculum. We are saying that probably with the strength that the competence-based curriculum has, that might be the type of curriculum that would fit this honorable team. At our place, we use a model that is called participatory curriculum development model, where the stakeholders are brought together. Then those who are skilled in curriculum matters, those who are skilled in the specific content issues come together and they agree on the format. And we are saying that as we propose the competency-based or outcome-based, we are alive to the fact that the KSA of curriculum still remains valid. That is the knowledge, skills, and attitude. But in competence-based, we also have the values. So it is moving from the content-based to competency-based curriculum now brings in the issue of values, so that it is KSA, which is the current trend that we propose, or rather we work with. HANSARD curriculum design, we are saying that if it is agreed that that is the way to go, we are going to have a document which is used to implement the curriculum. So that is, once the curriculum is developed, how will it be implemented? That is also something that whoever is going to be in charge of this process going forward needs to have in mind. That curriculum should contain specific information about HANSARD, such as the details of the learning outcomes, how they will be achieved, that is the learning experiences. How will those outcomes be achieved, competencies to be developed, and how the assessment can be done. At our place currently, we are running, those of us who are from Parliament of Kenya, our commission developed what we call, a course that is assessed through examination. Is that what we want to do? Who is going to do that for us? So those are the issues that should come out in the design, so that the design should be able to give clear expectations of what is to be learned and ensure uniformity. I'm talking to English teachers, so there is usually a common term that we say sameness and uniformity. So we are not looking for sameness, but we are looking for uniformity, so that the experiences are similar wherever they are gotten from, and the clear roadmap of the learning areas to be organized in a way that the assessment becomes possible. Next, we were thinking about the components of this curriculum, what it would look like. So it should be clear about the competencies, the training outcomes. What is the end game? What do we want to have finally at the end? The general learning outcomes, the suggested training experiences. How do we want to have that in an organized program? And suggested assessment method. So the curriculum circle, as those of you who are teachers, who are trainers, who are curriculum experts may agree with me, starts with the training needs assessment or learning needs assessment, as we sometimes call it. Then we formulate policy around the areas that we just talked about. Then we also have the design. We have the development of curriculum itself, preparation of implementation framework or implementation matrix, then piloting to check which T's need to be crossed, which I's need to be dotted further, and then we do the monitoring and evaluation to check how our back looks. The journey is long, so are we still on the track, or have we missed some steps along the way? And we are saying, if this was to be done as an institution, as we are ready to work with the HANSARD Association of Kenya to achieve this. We also have what we call the training of trainers, so that who are the people who are going to implement this curriculum. I want to share with you, and my lecturer colleagues are in the room. I taught at the university for over 10 years. And so when I joined CPST, when I was being asked to do training of trainers, I was wondering what these people wanted to achieve again, because some of them were people whom I trained myself, others were my students. But then later on, we realized that there is the element of adragogy, which relates to training of adults, things which we really don't do normally, unless those skills are acquired in a special way, or they are imparted on us in a special way. So we are also saying we may have the best of the curriculum, but now at the implementation level, we need people who are skilled to impart that knowledge and make it in a way that it is consumable to adults. It will change the attitude of adults, add values, and improve their skills. So largely we are saying that all this, when done, and monitoring is done, the cycle continues, and from where we sit, we are saying we have an experience that we can say is a shareable experience, which is available for the HANSARD Association of Kenya to tap in. You can dovetail on our experiences, and then we move together. I was just sharing with Mr. Charles Ndigi that ideas are born in environments which are strange, because when Mr. Ndigi, in one of his trainings at the CPST, was starting this association, it looked quite remote. And so we are very excited to be here when the curriculum is being discussed because we were there when the idea of forming the association was there. Otherwise, Chair, thank you very much. The rest others we can discuss in the plenary. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm reminded that I didn't say my name. I thought when I was introduced, I was introduced well enough. Well, my name is Martin Bewa. I work at the Center for Parliamentary Studies and Training. I'm the head of research, publications, and library services at the CPST. We do a lot of these things virtually on a daily basis, and that's why it's a pleasure to share these experiences. Thank you very much.
Let's upload him briefly. Thank you. Let's have now the panel. Sydney, Dr. Mbewa, Madam Director, Resian, and then we have someone from Kerincho County, Bungoma, Nyamira, and Turkana. Nyamira, Bungoma, Kericho. Yeah. Good, good, good. All right, now that we have had two addresses from Sydney and Dr. Mbewa. Let's start with Madam Director. Then we move this way, and then we'll have a brief plenary session, and then Dr. Mbewa and Sydney will conclude for us. So, Madam Director, please, your remarks.
So I would advise that we don't sit back and expect someone and their regulations? What are they?
When we're talking assessment criteria, we should also have we have most presented whereby the water, the ethical group and the documents that are developed and see the documents that have been developed there. So with those few remarks, I want to thank the CPSP. From 2013, when we joined the HANSARD in Kericho, we have learned a lot from CPSP, and I believe that this is the organization that should be should have that opportunity of also implementing the curriculum and also the certification of the same. So thank you very much again.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon again. I think what I'll begin by appreciating the facilitators for what have taken us through in relation to the curriculum. And what I can say is that so much has already been said around the topic. But what I'll say that in relation to the curriculum, that this is something that is overdue, in the sense that, for instance, we find ourselves with the staff from our department going for courses such as supervisory, for senior management, for SLDP, instead of having particular courses in relation to what we expect of them in the delivery of the HANSARD reports. And having a curriculum around what we expect of a professional in the department, in the profession, is what is going to build us. Having sat in the discussions from the beginning, that is from Tuesday, what I can say is that the discussions, the program itself, has been a provocation of what we expect of a curriculum in relation to the HANSARD. The topics around it, if you are to especially look at what we discussed yesterday in relation to language, and I think that was one of the most heated debates here, with participation in relation to what are we supposed to look at when we are editing a HANSARD. It takes me back to the discussion I was having with the colleagues from our local university, and we're looking around parliamentary discourse. When you talk about parliamentary discourse, what informs the discourse in reporting at the national parliament vis-a-vis at the assemblies, at our assemblies, because the languages are different. And as AI is coming in at the same time, parliamentary discourse, has its own limits up to a certain point. So what I can say is this is something that will, as the director has mentioned, will want us to have a committee in place. But of course, at the end of it, it's all about public participation. What needs do we have as HANSARD practitioners, professionals, that we feel this curriculum should address? Asante sana.
Well, good afternoon. Eregai Wycliffe, Senior HANSARD Reporter, Turkana County. Well, first of all, let me start by thanking the organizers of this event, and of course our facilitators for today that have taken us through many things that actually we require as HANSARD practitioners. In regard to curriculum that we are talking today, first of all, there are so many things as an HANSARD reporters we're supposed to do before we go to the next level. As said by one of our participants here in the panel, that many a times in many assemblies, there have been kind of a situation whereby you're just given someone. They don't care whether that person is from which background, but you're just given that person to take through. And as someone who has actually had a media background, worked for some times, I found that actually most of things that we are doing in HANSARD is more of a play that needs someone to be keen on it. Like you need a name and the word against the name of such person. So for this curriculum, actually, as Madam Director was saying, that actually we need to be the one to take the initiative to work, to make it work, so that it can be realized in various assemblies that we are at this Nyanja. Because many assemblies are taking this, the so-called HANSARD as riders of planes. If you found in a room wearing headphones, you're being asked, you are listening for music, or you are probably watching a movie. But again, as practitioners, we need to be doing more research because as an answer, I feel like we need to be impacted, to be informed, so that when we are doing answer reports, we need to be working hard to make sure that what we have is internal to what actually we expect to be given. Above all, the hack has to create that committee, of course, to make it speed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've been talking too much, so bear with my voice. I'm Ndila Resian, the HANSARD organizing secretary, and I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank our presenters today. It is a good opportunity that we have started the discussion on making of this curriculum, and I agree with what my panelists have said. And it's just to say, as the organizing secretary, as all these other parliaments and other partners, that we are happy that we have people who we can look up to, who are ready to work with us. And so this is just the beginning of the conversation, and I'm sure something will happen in there. It is not an easy thing or a fast journey, but I know we are getting there. It's a good thing that we have started. Thank you.
curriculum. And before I continue, my friend Adongo will draw that the nonsense of the CDC if I never got it or I got it. So that is not in order because we as teachers will defend the curriculum. And finally, I allow me to make my compliments on the elephant in the house uh, of the issues dealing answered. Developing curriculum will sort out the whole mess. And my compliment to you, the panelists, the leadership of the Hack Association, is to make the wheel to roll. Just like how I said, allow this sixth annual Answered Association to give out on resolution. I'll agree with Madam there that it is high time you develop a team to tackle on this issue because it is becoming complex. We have the issue of curriculum. All these things that we are talking about, good people, are the one that we are. The Mr. Mayor was trying to say. It is the curriculum. Whatever we are talking about here, be it the needs assessment, be it the matrix, be it the pilot in the curriculum, be it the all these things dealing formulating the policies is on your curriculum, including the syllabus, Mr. Odong. It will come there. People get a team to support you, and by the next conference, we have a fine document of curriculum. Remember, before I finish, we do not have a particular institution which is offering us the training, the way you've mentioned. The earlier the better, the CPST own the thing. However, the CPST also must agree and come to the occasion that they have a lot to tackle, from tackling the issues of clerks, from tackling the issues of sergeant at arms. So you need to work with some good number of teams to support the whole idea. Thank you. Maybe I'll come back later if I'll get the time. But allow me to end from there.
Thank you for your addition. We still have 2 or 3 participants who have comments, but I will allow Bewa to respond and other panelists. Then we finally deal with the participants in the plenary. Dr. Bewa, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues, for the comments. I want to start with the Director Anne. Yeah, the existing work is there, but as we were saying, curriculum is best made in a participatory manner. That's the model that has been found to be working. So what we have were our thoughts, but now that it is coming from the would-be users, I think what is going to come out of this new initiative, the proposed process is going to work because the buy-in is there, the needs are going to be expressed from across, and therefore we will piggyback on what we have. But I think what is happening currently is what is going to deliver it. And thank you very much for the past initiatives. I think this is going to lead us to the conclusion of that work and even making it a very good curriculum that would professionalize HANSARD as is known. But again, I've been reminded that audio is the foundation. So this curriculum must think very deeply about the foundation. When the foundation is not strengthened, we may build weak structure. And thank you very much for reminding us about that. Regarding regarding the audio, we also did a lot of work with our colleague Faria. She retired, but the work that we did still remain. So we only need in this whole process to strengthen that work, consolidate, and make it who are lay people, and to the professionals that foundation must precede as superstructure, and that foundation must be made strong enough, actually strongest, if this is going to fly. And thank you very much for reminding us about that. Pod Odongo, the teacher in the house has protested. I think the difference, as Mwalimu has tried to address, is something about semantics, because both curriculum and syllabus, we said this is about organized learning program. They bring together all those tenets of syllabus and curriculum, what needs to be done, the experiences that should be felt, whether you are in Turkana, whether you are in Suba, whether you are in wherever you are. I was talking about similarity and sameness. The experiences should be similar. How those experiences are felt now depends on the teacher, on the student, but they are similar. They are not the same necessarily. And therefore, syllabus and curriculum are organized learning programs which should bring experiences to the participants. And that's why we now call it CBC, competency-based curriculum, and not syllabus as we used to mean a similar thing. Yes, now about the CPSC, it is true. Sometimes CPSC can get overwhelmed, but not yet, because in our model, we have our colleagues here. We believe in using experts. Whenever there is a training, there is something on HANSARD, for example. I've never been in an HANSARD environment. So we will be contacting Madam Gladys here, Madam Anne, to tell us whether what we're thinking is correct and whether it relates to the experiences. So that's why in our programs, we have what we call the demand-driven training programs. That is where you write to us or you call us and tell us what you want. So if it is in HANSARD, we will take your training request, training needs, and discuss with the practitioners. And that has actually over time overtaken the supply or rather the calendar programs. Because when we are seated in Naivasha, for example, to plan what we think HANSARD wants, we also recognize that there could be some special needs which we don't know about. So that's how we have organized ourselves so that we don't get overwhelmed. Yeah, but it is true. There is a concept that we got from the Clerk of Senate that he told us that train for Kenya, don't train for Parliament or for, so that we are saying these other sister institutions, if they have the expertise, if they have the capability of giving you these experiences, I'm sure we don't mind. But since we have access to the practitioners with a lot of experience, first-hand access, maybe we stand fast before these other institutions come in. Otherwise, I think those were the issues. Citizens must agree to work with others. Yes, we've agreed. That came from two participants, Mwalimu and the lady. We have always embraced that. You'll find us in so many forums working with KSG and many other institutions. We have MOU with the University of Nairobi. We have MOU with the UNITA. We have MOU with so many institutions just to help us in knowledge sharing and experience sharing. Thank you very much.
One more comment. All right, maybe someone was speaking on talking on the audio versus HANSARD. I think when we talk about HANSARD, we are talking about inclusive department in. We have the audio, we have, of course, the reporters, the editors. We are all in that house called HANSARD staff. So if anything comes up, I want to thank CPST 2016 or 2015. The first time I went for CPST training, we went with an audio officer to that place. Okay, it was massive information that actually we received that actually even today it's helping us much. The principal audio officer that was here yesterday, we all of us are actually trying to make this answer to run to its purpose. So I know at one point as we are trying to make this curriculum, is that we are trying to make all of them run so that we can actually have a professional answer. Thank you.
We'll do the final round of comments and questions. Let them be very, very brief. I'll come to you, Majid. Let me show this. I go there. Very brief. Let's be brief. There's a certain promise we made.
Yeah, thank you very much, panelists. Yeah, my name is James Ranga. I teach at University of Nairobi. I'm also a curriculum developer. In fact, I'm involved in writing many curricula. So perhaps let's begin by something that Odongo said. I just wanted to add one brick to what Dr. Mbewa said, which is very correct. Odongo, a curriculum is program specific. Syllabus are subject specific. I hope I'm making sense. Like each and every subject I teach, I make, like when I taught this guy a course called Organizational Communication and Behavior for his PhD program, then I make the syllabus for that particular subject. But now all those syllabus put together for the entire PhD program, that is now the curriculum. So curriculum, program specific. Syllabus, subject specific. I hope maybe that can clarify. The question I wanted to ask, because I'm your supporter all the way in the curriculum that you want to develop. What frequency do you have in mind with respect to how you are going to review your curriculum? Is it every 2 years, every 3 years, or you are looking at a curriculum that is going to be a one-off for posterity? In the university, for example, we review our curricula after every 4 years, not because that's what we want, because that's the regulation given by the Commission for University Education. So I'm just wondering, being that you guys are at liberty to set your own timelines, what do you have in mind in terms of, because things are constantly changing, what timelines do you have in mind in terms of how frequently you will review your curriculum? Thank you.
Thank you, James.
So thank you very much. And first, I'll start by appreciating the National Parliament and CPST for supporting counties to develop the capacity. But my concern or my comment is when you look at the banner there, it's indicating is hosted by Parliament of Kenya, SOCAT, and HANSARD Association of Kenya. So because you know they are in the counties, all the HANSARD staff are working under their respective county assembly service boards. So I think it will be wise for SOCAT to be involved in development of the curriculum, because you know each and every county assembly has its own scheme of service, so that at least we have buy-in of the clerks through SOCAT, so that at the end of it, then we don't end up putting the cart before the horse. So because there are small the issues that will also come up besides now the curriculum, the issues like we had about risk mitigation, like provision of milk. So all those issues should be included, and that should be part of public participation, as mentioned by the editor from Pukama. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll come to you, Andrew. And ultimately,
my first question was addressed by Dr. Meranga on the issue of review, but I have a concern on something that has been raised by each of the Senate about audio officers and the HANSARD reporters. Please, those will be developing the curriculum. My request will be that don't separate the two, training for audio officers and for the reporters. Because if the first line defense is the audio, why should I be reporting and I know nothing about the audio? I should have the basics. Maybe at advanced level, for those who want to specialize in audio, they can take advanced courses, but at the basic level, let all HANSARD reporters have basic training on audio. Thank you.
I'm going to settle and make your comment, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all the presenters for the presentation. My question is actually directed to Dr. Mbewa. First of all, is to thank you for quoting extensively from a publication I did with Dr. Bushere, titled Community Design Approach to Curriculum Design, Lessons from Parliamentary HANSARD Training Curriculum, which was published in 2018. Thank you for that, but maybe going forward, it's good to acknowledge the authors. Secondly, I'm concerned about the curriculum paradigm that are used. Since 2018, when we wrote about participatory curriculum development model, I'm curious about which other curriculum model, especially the interactive models that are there that we can use to improve curriculum development for the HANSARD. Secondly, and this is crucial and fundamental, what epistemological issues do you see in HANSARD curriculum development going forward, especially considering the new developments that surround us? Thirdly, and lastly, there's no university in the world that teaches us, and this actually reinforces what my director from the Senate said. No university in the world teaches HANSARD. Maybe going forward, we might be the first ones once the universities allow. So, what active steps are being taken by the center to utilize existing knowledge to develop parliamentary knowledge in terms of HANSARD practitioner, the practice, because we are aware, as I said, no university teaches about HANSARD. If you search about publications related to HANSARD, I am sure you'll just find mine and from Africa, mine and Dr. Bushere's and maybe one or two others, but none others. So what efforts are we making to ensure that going forward, parliamentary knowledge about HANSARD practice? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Finally, there is one question or comment. Make it brief.
HANSARD versus audio. Maybe we can say, let us have ICT and HANSARD, because the HANSARD officer must be well equipped with ICT knowledge, because at the end of the day, HANSARD report is finally produced with the support of the gadgets of the ICT. Fresh from class, holding a chalk and book, I was supposed to produce HANSARD reports. First of all, I was given an HANSARD record, which I was not well familiar with, even typing and everything. At the end of the day, so when we are developing this curriculum, let's see the aspect of the ICT so much. I think that is my request.
Thank you. Now, members of the panel, you will make your parting short, and as you respond to their comments and the questions they have raised.
Thank you very much. As a parting shot, it will be to assuage the fears of audio versus HANSARD. The HANSARD is from the audio until indexing. Like the doc amesema curriculum na syllabus. So tunafanya curriculum na huko ndani kutakuwa na syllabus. So there is no way the end game can be a good HANSARD na huku ndani kuna weaknesses. So I think that is it will encompass that, and it's a conversation going forward. There's a public participation. So we'll go out to this. So thank you.
Many have been actually given out, and for me is to thank you so much for listening to us. And again, as an HANSARD practitioners, we all need to try to rotate in the same department in different sections in the HANSARD. As Turkana people, or rather Turkana County Assembly, what we have done is we introduce a reporter to go on audio for this probably session. He goes and learn, then back, then we take another one so that we all equip with the instrument that I use there, and of course recording, and of course we thank the Senate. They came to Turkana on September last year, and after coming to Turkana, we were taken for training again on how to edit audio and all those kind of things. So we are trying actually to make the answer to be one, right from audio to indexing. God bless you.
Thank you. The conversation around the HANSARD curriculum is about having an almost standardized HANSARD report. And therefore, all levels of HANSARD production, from audio reporting to the editors, are all included in this particular discussion. I think at some point we're discussing about who the staff established at the Senate and at the National Assembly. At some point that we have this number of audio officers and editors and all that. It is we have 50 or we have 70. Inside that we have the audio officers, the reporters, and the editors. So it's not anything that we should be looking at in terms of who is here and who is there. At the end of the day, too, what we should be looking at is that the moment the curriculum is on, we have the basics that everyone should have. For instance, the basics of audio production, every other officer in the HANSARD department has to know that. So audio officers, I think your place in the HANSARD production is as secure and as safe as that.
So thank you very much for this opportunity once again. Mine is also on the issue of audio officers and the HANSARD officers. I believe that when we are coming up with the curriculum, it should be a package, such that the training, by the time you are joining the HANSARD department, then you should have that basic knowledge of audio, and then going further to editing. Then the issue of also of the regulation of members. I agree with the presenter that talked about the regulation and gave us examples of places like the UK, where you must possess a degree, the US, whereby you must have a high school diploma. I think that the entry level, when we are coming also to regulations, before even we come to the training of the HANSARD officers, then there should be the entry level, whereby you have to have a basic maybe diploma and or maybe a basic degree on something, so that when you are joining when it comes now the training of the officers, then there is that threshold that has been put. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleagues. All I can say is that what has come out clearly is that curriculum development is a consultative process, and everybody at one point or another is involved. So HAC will make sure that this is, and CPST, of course, in collaboration with CPST, will make sure that this is as consultative as possible. HPS, the HANSARD production system, is an all-inclusive, it's a chain production, and everybody on that part of the chain is equally important. So there is no less partner in HDS. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just comment on one, the questions that were directed to me by Mr. Majid. In my presentation, if I was to do a PowerPoint presentation, I acknowledge the KCD Act of 2013 talks about the new system of developing rather the modern system, and that's where I take perspective. The presentation you talked about, I think that is good information. I'll try to also read it when I go back and listen for it. Maybe it will help this process. But I acknowledge the source, which is the KCD Act and the other publications. So thank you very much for that, for the information. Regarding which other model the CPT has, we, as you may be aware, have been working a lot with KSD and other development institutions. And at some point, when we were developing the curriculum that we're using, and we developed some other subsequent ones, we thought we agreed that this model serves us. If there will be need for updating this into the contemporary ones are even better, I think that will also help this PC, will help this process, the process that we are talking about here. Next steps that CPST is taking further. Yes, it may interest participants here that CPST is developing what we call a fellowship program. A fellowship program that will be helping us to develop, rather to grow the research department. The design is that for fellowship or fellows, we're taking master students or rather PhD students who just graduated masters. So you have to be registered to be a fellow. But for senior fellows, those will be those who have graduated with doctorate and wants to do some research around parliamentary issues. So we are looking at that's a very active, deliberate policy step. And next week we are here in Naivasha with the CPST board, this is actually a commission board to validate that policy, the fellowship policy, as passed through other processes, and from there it will go for endorsement by the commission. So that may interest the officers here that there will be somewhere, there will be a desk, there will be a section at the CPST where parliamentary research that is different from the research department that we have currently will be done. The primary research on all parliamentary issues, and it's an idea that has been really very actively applauded by the Commission and by the people who interacted with it. So, colleagues, I think this is going to help even the HANSARD development and all other sections as parliamentary knowledge preservation and creation is concerned. So that's an announcement in this inquiry, which may interest us going forward. After that, it will be published and publicized for anybody who wants to participate, and that should serve us. Thank you very much. Finally, my parting shot is that creating new professions takes time and it takes very deliberate steps. My background is accounting and finance, but I liked more finance in terms of capital markets. There was a time we wanted to develop professional finance because there was only this International Chartered Institute of Finance analyst. and the roadblocks that were there. But when now it was brought, the chair of finance, I think in Parliament, was somebody who was also a practitioner in the finance department. We took advantage of that. Why I'm saying that is that your profession will easily be registered because it will take a piece of legislation and you are the people who interact with legislators virtually on a daily basis from a very close range. So it only takes a deliberate step and organization amongst yourselves to have that profession recognized, registered, and thriving. You might even overtake the rest of the world so that we say this is made in Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think that for me, being the panelist with the least experience in this area, it actually helps me summarize that what I'm hearing is quite zen from both directors. To me, what is clear is that this forum should really pass a resolution, whether you call it the Naivasha resolution, that all the constitution was passed here. So you might also pass your own resolution, forming a committee. I think that in that committee, at least both directors, the National Assembly and the Senate, should be members. There should be a member from CPSD. And I think there's a word that director has coined, not coined, she has used an expression, HANSARD production system, so that that committee should have all those people who are dealing with the HANSARD production system. There should be a representative from SOCAT, a person dealing with transcribing, recording, transmission, broadcasting, and they go ahead and form this committee, give yourselves clear timelines, and I think that Dr. Mbewa has given us very clear guidelines what that committee would be attempting to achieve, which would be curriculum design, uniformity, clear outcomes, a clear roadmap for implementation, assessment methods, implementation, monitoring and evaluation. So with all that to say, I think I'm very humbled. I've learned a lot sitting on this panel, and I think that this might be the beginning of a recognition of a whole new profession that would be unique to Kenya and that will contribute to Africa. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting to participate in the panel. Now, we'll upload them until they take their seats. So we'll clap continuously until each panel member has settled. So let's start. Let's start. Continue, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's upload. Let's upload. Let's upload. Okay. Now, finally, my name is Dennis Nyasani, HANSARD reporter, National Assembly. My parting shot, I always quote Robert Frost in his poem, Standing by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. I'll do the very last lines. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. This is our promise. We have miles to go before we sleep. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, colleagues. It seems we are now coming to the tail end of our program. But let me recognize the clerk of the Senate and secretary to the Parliamentary Service Commission and our patron, heart patron. Welcome, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye,